get that squirrel up here. Y'all playing. It's homecoming.
You won't do it.
Huh?
You won't do it.
See if your friends boosting you up on homecoming. How's everybody doing? All right. I think I'm still nervous from Dr. Johnson in that Rattler charge. She did that, didn't she?
She did. Yes, she did.
President Johnson, thank you for that. Dr. Chipman could not be with us. When I left convocation and I heard the March 100 over there practicing, I knew then, in my mind, I don't know when they don't practice. But since Dr. Chipman isn't here, we got to recognize somebody from the March 100. How many old school Rattlers remember Bragg Stadium when there was a dirt track around inside? Let me see your hands. Well, one of the people that used to lead that band during that time was one of my favorite drum majors, Marcel White. Marcel, could you please stand up? We were talking about that dirt track that used to be around Bragg and leading the March 100 around there. Great to see you, brother. So we're going to excuse Dr. Chipman, but in my experience at HBCU game day, let me just give him some props. Right now for the ESPN Band of the Year, FAMU jumped 4 spaces to the #1 spot this week.
Yeah!
What's significant about their jump is that the different metrics they used, the band improved a little bit. The metric that jumped the marching 100 to the top of that chart this week was the drum majors. So if anybody saw our drum majors, and especially Alua Madupe, a lawyer, they bring that band off last week, we know they had no choice but to put the 100 in that top spot. So congratulations to the March 100. We know Dr. Chipman and the team are going to have a great show for us tomorrow. All right, Doc, sit down.
Cover, Doc.
Simon said.
Where his music?
You sit right there.
Where his song? Where his song? Where his song?
Oh, easy, got some band music over there? ESPN Band of the Year, Dr. Shelby Chipman.
What's up, Rattlers? Good to see everyone. I'm a little out of breath. So I got a call from Brandy. She said, Dr. Chipman, you need to be in the gymnasium. I said, Brandy, I was in the gymnasium. She says, no, you're not. So I said, no, I was here. I went up to the reception table. She said, but you didn't come inside. I said, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to be inside. So anyway, I had to greet the high school bands that are at Bragg Stadium just now. So that's why I'm running from Bragg. We have a festival at 2 o'clock.
All right, so I'm going to get Dr. Chipman a little moment to catch his breath. And I'm going to start with Coach Colzie. Coach, how's the team looking at practice this week?
Well, let me start first by saying how amazing everyone looks this afternoon. You guys, everybody looks really, really good, and just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Secondly, Doc, I got the squirrel. They gave me the squirrel song when I walked up here, and then you get trying to see. No, I mean all is well this week. Obviously, understanding it's homecoming week, and it's a very, very important week for us. Give us a chance to get back into SWAC play, and we obviously need to make sure we're playing our best football tomorrow afternoon.
Coach, one thing that a lot of people may not recognize, because we're not used to losing in Bragg, first off.
Yep.
But we played 2 of the top teams in HBCU football those last week. So any of the things that did not go wrong, that did not go right, were exaggerated by playing very, very good teams. Just talk about that.
Well, obviously with my 4th season being here, we've also been a very, very good football team. So, you play at North Carolina Central, you play at Alabama State, teams that, have really, really good quarterbacks. Where maybe we're trying to find some consistency at that position. But I think the thing is that, we've learned from the mistakes. We've learned, we've had to strengthen our weaknesses. That's something that we've been working on all week.
Dr. Chipman, you jumped 4 spots to #1 in the ranking for the ESPN Band of the Year. Just talk about the work that it takes to mold the Marching 100 into being what you need them to be.
Well, thank you, Vaughn. That's a very important question. The one thing about Florida A&M Marching Band, you all know the tradition and the legacy of Dr. William Patrick Foster and Julian E. White and Sylvester Young. And I'm always grateful to have the opportunity to lead the band. And again, I'm honored that Elmira Mangum in 2016, president at that time, appointed me the director of band. So I always like to give credit to those who have come before me as well as those who have supported the incomparable March 100. And certainly Marva Johnson, President Johnson, has done an amazing job with allowing the band to increase in size, and of course the sponsorship and assistantship we received. So I'm grateful to the leadership team and the board of trustees for allowing us to do the things we're doing, as well as the administration. So I just want to first of all make sure I state that my mom raised me right and said you will always give respect to those individuals that have paved the way or allowing you to do some things that maybe you didn't get to do in the past. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. And of course, the current students that we have this year, we do assemble 340 students. Last year we had 295 students in the band, and it helps. And I'm gonna answer your question, but if you saw the band this week, we had 12 performances this week, starting with the coronation with the freshman trumpets and the Mardi Gras escorting of the SGA student leaders and all the queens and kings, and up to this Sunday. And so because of the numbers that we do have, it does allow us to split the group up. The whole band is over at Bragg now at 3 o'clock. I'm taking 40 students to play for T-Pain on T-Pain Way or T-Pain Road. I think it's right up the street. And so we're able to break the band up. One of the things we find very challenging sometimes, but also a part of our makeup, is to allow the students to have a lot of input into the shows we're doing, as Dr. Foster would have trained us to make sure the music is relevant, to make sure the marching is relevant. And I'm sure many of you enjoyed the gospel show on last week. We were very thrilled to do that show, and of course featured the 2 students that are in the band, both of which are in the gospel choir as well. You saw a couple of them today. And so as we think about the shows that we have, we're always thinking about being better than the previous performance. We're always about finding that it, or that wow factor that's going to allow us to go to the next level. You know, and in our band motto, it states precision in marching. And when they don't have precision in marching, I'll tell them. And sometimes in good ways, and sometimes in ways they don't like to hear. But I make sure I'm always respectful in telling them that you got to tighten these things up. And so after we saw the ratings, and I know that some of the judges that have judged this group, and they do change the judges every week. They have 2 sets of judges, from what I understand. In 1 week, the judges judge the Division I bands, and then the next week they judge the Division II bands. And so, you know, we respect some of the judges that are on there. Not that they always make the right call, because, you know, some things are subjective. But at the same factor, we know internally what we need to do to get this band to be at the top level musically and marching. There's nobody and no band in this country that's going to sound better or look better than Incomparable March 100. There's something unique about the way Mr. Sargent arranges the music that he's been doing since the last, since 1974. And then, of course, there's something about our drills that are unique that other bands don't do. We take more chances than other bands, and sometimes that's critical with our performances. We go after visuals. You know, you saw the doves on field, you saw the heart, you saw the cross. Most bands don't do those kinds of things, but we still have to execute. So that would be the biggest thing. I would want everybody to know that whenever we're rehearsing the band, and we'll be out there tonight from 7:30 to 9:30, and you'll see us working on execution and timing and precision and sound that's going to reach the audience.
All right. When I came in, Chair Gibbons and CEO Lawson, they said they wanted to be with the alumni band this week, and you got some.
Oh yeah, if you show up about 6:45, we'll start stretching.
All right. Tonight is a very special night because Coach Colzie is going to turn loose a former player to talk to the football team, and I'm going to demand that all the coaches leave. I've already called Chief Alexander. I talked during convocation. I said, if they call you from the field house about 6, 7, don't go. Just don't go. I need to give these guys some tough love tonight, and that will happen. Coach, what's your message? The practices are done. Now it's time to suit up. What's your message to the team to get them ready to understand the importance of winning in front of alumni like we have filling this room?
Well, I think the first thing is getting them out of town. You know, we're taking them to Moultrie, Georgia tonight, but to give us a chance just to be together, give them an opportunity just to understand that we are in this together. we'll have some last-minute film observations, tonight, and then we'll wake up in the morning. Again, we'll start meeting, going through our walkthroughs, and then we'll head right back over here. But the biggest thing for the guys is just realizing that everyone's in this together. They understand the assignment as far as how big this game is, obviously because it's homecoming, but also giving us an opportunity to be at home. We didn't like how we represented Bragg Stadium last time, so we want to make sure that we do a proper job tomorrow.
All right. I like that. Dr. Chipman, there's a lot of dynamics that goes into a homecoming show, to include alumni graduated 20 years ago who've been stretching, working out for the last month to participate with the Marching 100. How do you manage that?
Being a former member of the band in the 80s, any 80s in the house? Any 80s in the house? A few of y'all here. And so I had the opportunity to, one, bring my high school band here. I was a high school band director for 10 years in Miami at Miami Central High School. And I brought them to FAMU's homecoming every year, except for my last year because we marched in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. And so I know the history as it relates to the importance of marching bands and inclusion. There was a time where there would be 25, 28 high school bands visiting. You all remember those days when they were coming down Wanish Avenue and through Frenchtown, et cetera. But when I think about the management, the alumni band members, of course, we have meetings with them, so they know what the expectations are. I will be on the field tonight with the members of the Alumni Band Association, and they come back with specific interest in giving back to the university and providing scholarships and having that opportunity. Some of them bring their kids in town, et cetera, and they come out on the field to bring it off. And so we did time our show, Coach, and I don't know if A.D. Smith is here. We were right at 21 minutes with the introduction of the Royal Court. They came out to the field yesterday, so we should be good with that. But we know the alumni band members look forward to bringing it off, and we're excited to have them back in Tallahassee again as well.
It sounds like they don't believe you because they're giving you 25.
Well, I always got to have a good cushion because the sousaphones at the end, okay, and the drum majors.
All right, then our last question will go to Coach Colzie.
Yes, sir.
Coach, what have you learned about your team so far this season?
Well, Dr. Chipman talks about execution, right? Just being able to be, if you execute well, you play well. And then obviously when you execute well, there's consistency. And that's been the thing for us right now. We just been striving on making sure that we're consistent, making sure we're doing it every single day. Again, you mentioned already, we've had a great week of practice, and now it's just being able to put it up on the field tomorrow. So I'm excited for it. They know it's going to be a packed house. They know everyone's going to be excited. But I also need them to make sure that, their emotion doesn't get too high. Because, again, we got to make sure we're still ready to play and play Rattler football the way we know how to do it.
All right, he is the head coach of the Florida A&M University Rattlers, James Colzie III, and the director of the Marching 100, Dr. Shelby Chipman. And we'll see you all tomorrow in Bragg.
Thank you, Rattlers.
Thanks, everybody.